What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about how I learned how to trade, as well as what I would have done differently if I was starting over today. All right, so before we get into the video, make sure you guys please leave a thumbs up, like this video, comment down below any ideas that you guys would like me to talk about, and I'd be happy to go over them. But with that being said, let's get right into the video. The first thing I did when I was learning how to trade were to study the basics of technical patterns. I'm a technical trader. Technicals can mean a lot of things, and it does mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. You could be talking supply and demand basics. You could be talking about technical chart patterns, as in a wedge or something that we've seen earlier in this channel. So that's where I started. From there, I went on to study volume. And keep in mind that while I am studying volume, I am pretty much Googling, YouTubing anything based off of volume, and I'm listening and consuming content from all different people, all different perspectives, and I'm kind of trying to figure out what's working and what doesn't actually work. From there, I began to listen to podcasts of successful traders and focused on how they thought. This, in my opinion, was probably the most important part for my growth. Understanding the psychological aspect of trading is one of the hardest things to do as a retail trader, so it's important for you to listen to other traders so that you can understand how they think. In particular, successful traders, because they do think a lot differently than the average trader who is not successful. Right, so they'll do things, they will not react to things, they will react to things differently than the average retail trader, and I believe that this is where the true growth comes from, right? And so I just included some podcasts that I enjoyed, some podcasts that helped me in particular chat with traders. I know it's on Spotify and Apple Music as well as YouTube. That one has some of the best interviews that you will find, and he asks great questions in that interview as well. Trader Lion interviews were another one, and then obviously there were some particular people like William O'Neill and Mark Mirviani. I don't know how to say his name, but there are a few guys or traders that are really good and really understand trading. And so I would just search their names and just listen to them talk. And sometimes it might be a random video that might have 200 views, but a lot of times there's a lot of great content in that. So that is one of the biggest things that I think newer up and coming traders should do. Listen to these podcasts, listen to how these traders think, and focus on how they think, and focus on how you can apply how they are thinking to your strategy, your kind of personality. The next thing I did extensively, put my 10,000 hours in, was study charts. I'm a technical trader, so I live and die by charts, and I studied charts every night pretty much. I would come home and study charts from 5 to 11 p.m., and I would just be looking at charts, different charts. I would be creating, drawing trend lines, drawing chart patterns, looking at volume, how volume was moving with price, on daily candles, on weekly candles, every single time frame. I would look and see how does a wedge pattern on the 1 hour translate to the daily, to the weekly, so that I could look at a weekly and tell you that there's a wedge pattern forming. Stuff like that, that the average person probably just doesn't take the time to do. That can really give you an edge if you're able to see and identify these chart patterns and how the charts move. Next, I was able to see what worked, how it worked, and then capitalize on seeing that. That's the important part. Once you take your experience and you see what worked, from there, you then want to apply it and capitalize on it, right? So the thing after that would be execute. Just like a lot of my videos, it all comes down to execution. You need to be able to execute. You need to be able to make the right decisions at the right times, and that's how you become great. So what would I do differently? There are a few things I highlighted. This list is not all inclusive, right? There are some things I'm sure that I'm missing, but just a few off the top of my head. Learn how to backtest a strategy. Learn how to backtest a particular setup back with historical data. There are a ton of YouTube videos on it, a ton of, just Google search it and they will, pop up. but I think that's one of the best skills to have if you're new and coming into the game. I think you want to be data dependent, especially in a market that we are in right now as of July 25th, 2022. It's a pretty crazy bear market right now. We're in the middle of an earnings season, earnings week with GDP data, a lot going on. So I think it's really important to learn how to backtest a strategy so you know for sure, for certain, that you have a statistical edge when you're taking this setup. Learn how to become or learn how to be a specialist when it comes to risk management. I think this was one of the things that I didn't focus on at the beginning as much as I should have, and it allowed me to blow up an account, a couple accounts. So it's very important to understand risk management and to really, really internalize risk management, especially for a newer trader. This should be something that should be at the single first thing you should be doing is understanding risk management. I know I've talked about it in prior videos, but I can't emphasize how important it is to understand risk management. And if you can understand this simple concept of risk management, it translates into everything else in life, any other business investments you want to make, right? There are tons of business deals that want 200K down, for a small upside, maybe a 0.5 R upside, when in reality you're looking for those plays where you can put 50K in and or 50K up front and you can come out with, 800,000, right? So that's really what we're looking for. You need to understand how to be a specialist when it comes to risk management, how to be strategic, and really, really internalize the idea of risk management. The next thing, and one more after this, would be to take less trades and more dry trades, identify quality over quantity. So dry trades are what I call trades that I don't actually take a position, but then I'm watching the stock to see how it actually reacts and see how I may have done if this trade worked out. Some would call it a paper trade. I don't like to go through the process of putting the trade in. I will just physically watch it. But take less trades. I think it's important at the beginning to work on quality, to work on compounding the account, how to grow an account, right? You're not going to grow an account if you're never selling, if you're never taking profits. Some of those basic things that you can really hone in if you are just trading one stock or you're just taking one trade, you're in one trade at a time. I think that's that's the way that I prefer to do it. Quality over quantity. A lot of people want to just take a ton of trades, and depending on the market, that might work, right? If it's just a straight bull run 2020, the bottom straight up where pretty much anything breaks to the upside, yeah, that's a great market to quantity over or to use quantity over quality. But in a bear market like this that we are in right now, it's more about quality. It's not about quantity. And if you use quantity, you will probably get blown up, right? So it's about understanding the market environment, understanding what you're trading in, understanding if the Fed's at your back or if the Fed is in front of you, right? So just a few of those things, but less trades, quality over quantity in this market, in a bear market, quality over quantity, in a bull market, a raging bull market, one that's going absolutely berserk. Which I'm not sure we will see again. Something like that. Yes, quantity works. And the last slide, be patient with yourself. I am very hard on myself as a person. That's just kind of how I am. But the more that I've traded, the more I've realized that. So it's allowed me to, implement steps to make sure that I'm not as hard on myself. But I think any person who wants to be successful in trading or is going to be pretty hard on themselves. It's natural because it's an emotional game. So I just urge you to be patient with yourself, right? I always like to use the analogy, Michael Jordan didn't become Michael Jordan overnight or in 2 years. Michael Jordan became Michael Jordan after years of putting up shots, right? Years, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of shots, of dribbles, of sprints, right? So you have to understand that it takes time to be good at anything. A lot of people tend to just think they can jump into trading and be great at it. That's not the reality of it. The reality of it is it's a very tough game and you're playing against some of the smartest people in the world. So be patient with yourself, right? Understand it's a process, understand it's a journey, and strive to learn and to grow on that journey daily, whatever, weekly, whatever you choose to do. So that's what I have. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure we like this video. Make sure we subscribe to the channel, please. And we'll be back with more videos.